Today I'm trying out this inlay kit I got from Amazon. Router bit solid brass inlay kit. I'm gonna put it into my Bosch Colt 1 horsepower router. This router plate does not take this brass inlay kit, so I had to get a new plate. So I need to install it here, and I hope that those holes line up. Looks like they will. So I got to put that on, put the brass thing on. This is to line up a bit so it doesn't cut the brass when I turn that on. We're going to set that up. And I have this frame, this oak frame that the customer wants a dark inlay on the outside corner. So I have cut this jig out and she wants it in this shape. I have some dark wood. I think we're going to use walnut or some wenge to inlay it into there. I cut it on the table saw. Gonna sand it. With a palm sander, an orbital. Have them pretty flush. Hey, so we're back in the shop working on this oak frame with the wenge inserts. The battery died yesterday, so I didn't get to show you the sanding of the inlays. So what you missed is the sanding process where I sand the inlays because they were sticking out just a little bit. Sanded the inlays flat and flush, and then I stained it, and then I put my first clear coat on. And this is in a bathroom location, so it has potential to have some moisture, high humidity in the air. So I like to use a Minwax Helmsman. This is a satin finish. It's an indoor-outdoor urethane product. It's a very durable product. I love it. I use it on a lot of my wet location woodworking finishing and for outside stuff too. But as soon as you hit UVs with it, stuff starts to yellow. But interior stuff, it's a great surface. Okay, so today I'm going to give it a nice light sand, and then clear coat it another time. We'll see. There's some dry spots. We'll see if they go away after a second coat. We might coat it a third time. And then we'll let it dry for a few days, flip it over, and put the mirror in. I think you can see the mirror in the background that's waiting to go in this frame. Picked it up from the glass shop yesterday. I'll give you a closer look at the frame. And the inserts. There's one wenge insert. I'll give you an idea on what that wenge looked like before it was in. So that kit, the inlay kit, worked very nicely. I did have to make sure when I was cutting out the wenge, the pocket, I didn't have to be super careful because you're just boring out the entire space. But to cut out the inlays, there was nothing on my jig or the inlay from preventing me to digging into the inlay. I had to really push up against the outside of my jig to prevent it from routering into some of the good wood that I wanted to keep. So this is what the wenge looked like before. They kind of had that a little bit of a lighter streaks through it that are now gone because I just stained right over. But that's okay. The customer wanted those to just be a dark wood. Never was specific. So I was going walnut or that. I'm happy I went with this wenge. Makes it a little bit more of a unique frame. Okay, I'm gonna give it a little sand and a wipe down and another clear coat. On just the inlays, I'm sanding them with an 800 grit to get rid of those fine scratches that I don't want to see. Try to keep the surface extremely clean and dust free. Before I started coating, before I clear coated anything, I with my compressor, I blew my entire surface off and I let the air settle so there were no fine particles in the air. So my working space is really, really clean. The floor is super dirty. That's where it all fell. Okay, I think we're ready to clear it. Coat is on and it is glassy. It will matte up just a hair. This is not a semi-gloss finish. It will dry as a satin finish, which is kind of like a eggshell. Those inserts are super cool. Again, I used this PowerTech router bit solid brass inlay kit from Amazon, and I liked it. We're gonna install a mirror today. I have I have this piece of thick corrugated thick corrugated cardboard. I use it as a soft surface, so when I flip my frames over to install the mirrors, nothing gets damaged. So I'm going to put the wood frame upside down, good face down, on the cardboard, and then I'm going to install the mirror. I use silicone and silicone only. I find that that's a good malleable way to fasten the edges of the mirror all the way around, and it does a great job. There's no rattling. If there was a point that maybe the wall got bumped and the mirror rattled, you don't hear that noise when it's siliconed into the frame. I always check for any imperfections with my chisel. I'll go around the edge of the inside of my groove with a sharp chisel and just lightly scrape off any of the clear finish that's dried up as a bump, or any wood burrs or glue in the miters. So when I put this silicone in, I put a little bit on the edge before I put the mirror in. So the mirror is sitting on top of some silicone. But the way I do that is I keep the bead as far away from this edge as possible. And I do that to prevent any seepage out. If I put it right on the edge and I put the mirror on top, it's going to ooze out and I'm going to see that silicone on the outside of the mirror, and I don't want that. So I try to keep the silicone as close to that 90 inner groove as possible. So when I set it on there, it seeps, it spreads, but it won't spread out. Okay, I have it all coated. I'm going to put the mirror on very carefully. So now I have it flat. It's not slide into the groove yet, but when I do slide it into the groove, it's going to fall onto that silicone. It's not going to wreck it, because if I leaned it into the groove right now and then I pivoted it to be flat, it would wreck and push up that silicone. It won't seal it properly. There we go. I dropped it, landed perfect. Get my fingers out. It's perfect. I'm going to shift it just a hair. Okay, so I have laid the mirror in to the frame. It's perfectly flat. Before I laid it in, I had the silicone bead that the mirror sat on top of. After that, I went around and I put another finished bead of silicone right on the top there, all the way around. All the way around. And that is how you inset a mirror into a custom wood frame.